based on our last conversation, Scott, let's dig a little deeper. We talk a lot about how NIA isn't just about the money, but I wanted to kind of go deeper on that subject. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure, Jesse. Good to see you. You know, First of all, we don't want to shy away from the money, right? The International Franchise Association says that for every $100,000 a person invests into networking, they can expect about a 15% return. And we're very proud of the fact that our statistics are staggering. I mean, compared to that. So a typical investment in network and action is $35,000, and people are making in their first year, 2 to 3 times that amount back. So it's far beyond 15% on a much smaller investment. So we're very proud of that. I think that's probably why Entrepreneur Magazine has recognized us as, you know, top 500 franchises in terms of our growth and support of our franchise system. We've been named in the top category of best work from home franchises, best low cost franchise. Uh, I think we finished 22nd in customer service with franchise review, but it really isn't all about the money. And so I want to back up to 2014 when we started this. I remember telling my wife, I had a gut feeling that this was going to be very successful. And my last company also happened to be very successful. It was a company called Consumer Guy that operated in about 35 states and two provinces in Canada. And we always talked over the years. We had that company for about 15 years. And every year we talk about starting a foundation and giving back. And we never got around to it. And when we started Network in Action, I told my wife, we're going to start from the very beginning giving back. And so every franchise owner, before they sign their franchise agreement, they make a commitment that they're going to do a community service project every year with their members. Okay. So every year, the members are going to get together. We'll talk about that in a minute and have a community service project. And people ask me frequently, if I'll be on blogs with other business people around the country and around the world. And where do you see network in action in the next 5 years? And I know they think I'm going to say, well, we'll be trading publicly or we'll be at XYZ millions of dollars in revenue. And I always tell them the same thing. My goal is to have this company in a place where every 4 hours, something is going on in the world led by our network and action franchise owners and contributed by our network and action franchise members. So I'm very proud of the fact that in 7 short years, we're already at every 4 days. So with over 140 franchises operating, every 4 days, something is going on where our members decide something in the community to get behind and contribute. So we're not asking our members for money. It's whatever you have an abundance of. If you've got an abundance of time, then get together with some other members and figure out how you're going to move the needle forward to help people in the community. If you got an abundance of ideas, bring your ideas. If you have some money, then write a check. Whatever people have an abundance of, if we bring that community of members together and under the leadership of our franchise owners, we'll come up with some type of program. So the way this works is really easy. In the 10th month of every group in the country or in the world, the organization comes up with an idea. So typically that meeting is geared around what businesses are doing to give back. And some businesses like to help veterans, and some like to help the homeless, and some like to help pets, and some are into the environment, and want to help battered women's shelters, whatever it might be. We've had some incredible stories, but at the end of that meeting, the group will coalesce around one idea. And I want to tell two quick stories. The very first function that we ever held was a Vet Fest, and we held it on Veterans Day, November of 2016, I believe. And we had a band, and we had an event, and we had people come, and we had people make cupcakes all night, and we raised about $11,000 for an organization in Houston, Texas, that had 26 different veterans group under its umbrella. And what I learned during this process was that when a veteran retires from the military, it typically takes them as long as 4 years to integrate back into society. They may have marital problems. A lot of them have financial problems with their mortgage. They have troubles getting jobs. They need a community of people and a purpose to live. And so this organization brought all these different people under one umbrella. And they had a big boardroom with nothing in it. I'll never forget it. And I said to the gentleman running the organization, how can we help? And he says, well, this room is where we bring the veterans in. And some of them need marriage counseling, and some of them need to sit down with someone to help them figure out how to redo their mortgage. And so we worked that event that day, and we took one of our members who's in the audiovisual business, and she agreed to bring in audiovisual equipment at her cost. And uh, at the end of the period that we worked on this, all of a sudden we had a place in Houston, Texas, where our veterans could come, get the help they needed in the atmosphere they needed with the equipment they needed. And the goal is to integrate the veteran back in society in 4 months, reducing that by 3.5 years. And so we just played a little small part in that. My favorite story is about a little guy named Mika, who was in North Houston and had a horrible tumor that was too large to operate. And so the franchise owner in North Houston, the Woodlands, Stacy Harris, she got her groups together and they decided to have the member, the father was the member in the group. And so they decided to work towards helping the family during this time period that Mika needed to go home and try to shrink the size of this tumor so that he could ultimately be operated on. And they raised some money and they helped the family Uber 40 minutes to the hospital to reduce the stress. They brought in someone to help clean the house and cook some meals a couple of times a week. Just an incredible story. And unfortunately, that story doesn't have a happy ending. We ended up losing Mika a few years later. But it's just a testament to what people can do when they put their mind to it. And what our franchise owners love is the feeling they get when they lead this organization, they lead this group, they lead this community to make a difference in the world. Fast forward a few years and COVID hit. And I think if there's one thing that came out of COVID that was positive is people really realized how important that was in their life. I always laugh because every franchise wants to market and advertise that if you buy their franchise, you'll make a difference in the world. Jesse, I saw a haircutting franchise the other day that said, buy our haircutting franchise and change the world one haircut at a time. And I'm like, okay, wow. That's not exactly what my idea about changing the world is. But not only do our franchise owners get to impact their members every single month with agendas that are designed to not only help a person grow their business, but help them have more quality time with their family. So we intentionally, with intention, once a quarter, we do something at our meetings to help our business owners try to reduce the stress, recognize the value in the family and what they can do to have a better relationship with their family and just be more efficient. And so between helping our members do that and then giving back to the community, our franchise owners tell me on a regular basis all the time that it's their favorite meeting of the year. We have incredible franchise owners who sometimes they do 2 events a year. Uh, it's really crazy how this is just taking on a life of its own. And these people are truly making a difference. So if you're watching this, if you at a place in your life where you've made the money, money's still important. You still want to make sure that your time is validated and you're getting a nice return on your investment. Great. Networking actions for you. But if you're super passionate about making a difference in your community, I hope you'll reach out. We can talk because Network in Action provides that opportunity. And all you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, look up Network in Action, and you can hear numerous stories about people whose lives were changed with Network in Action. And there's nothing I'm more proud of.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. And until next time.
Awesome, Jesse. Good to see you.
All right, you too.